Senator Wicker.
So it wasn't so much an attempt to get one candidate elected over the other. It was knowing there was going to be a loser, and that relatively half of the population who supported that loser would think their vote hasn't counted.
That was their second campaign. They ran 4 narratives during the first one, which were specific to the candidates. Then in October of 2016, they really shifted to the integrity of democratic institutions. So it was twofold. They were running to try and get a candidate they wanted up to Election Day, and then beyond Election Day, it was to create mass chaos inside the United States.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Let me move to Twitter. And is it Monye? Am I pronouncing it correct?
Thank you for asking, sir. It's Monhe.
Monhe. Okay, good. Well, let me ask you then, is that a Cajun name? You told me you're from New Orleans.
I am from New Orleans, sir. I'm a Saints fan, but my family's from Argentina.
Very interesting. Let me ask you about aggregate user data. There are analytics companies who purchase aggregate user data from all of you, and including from Twitter. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so, for example, if I am an analytic company and I want to work for the NFL, for example, I would purchase aggregate user data from Twitter, and using keywords, develop information that might be helpful to, say, the National Football League.
It depends on what it is they plan to use it for. A lot of times what our data is used most often for is to target advertising.
Okay, to target advertising, okay. Let me ask you this. Is that same ability to purchase aggregate data available to federal law enforcement? Is it available to federal anti-terrorism agencies?
It depends on what the purpose of the use of data is, and we have rules about how any entity, regardless of whether governmental or not, anywhere in the world can use our data.
Okay, and what are those rules with regard to terrorism?
With regards to terrorism, I'd have to get back to you on the exact rule, on the exact language of that, sir.
Okay, well, because this is pretty important. Do you, if an analytics company wants to purchase data from Twitter, you're willing to sell that to them. What I want to know is if that company is going to supply information to agencies that are seeking information about terrorist activities, and that activity is part of this aggregate user data, will you sell that data to them? Because frankly, I'm informed that you will not do so.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about what we do with our data, sir, which is we, on our side, on the Twitter side of the equation, are very data-focused and use that data to inform the machines that help us fight the terrorists. We work on a daily basis with law enforcement.
That's within, okay, that's within the Twitter organization.
Within the Twitter organization. We work on a daily basis with law enforcement, particularly with the FBI, and we'll respond to any requests that they have, as long as they give us the proper legal process, and we are on a first-name basis with our counterparts at the FBI.
And what would that proper legal process be?
It depends on what they're looking for. It could be a warrant, depending on whether they're looking for non-private, for private or non-private information, on whether they're looking for direct messages.
Has Twitter told these data analytic companies that the purchases of this data cannot be used for counterterrorism purposes?
They cannot be used for persistent surveillance of individuals.
They can be used to target advertising and products and sales, but they cannot be used to help our anti-terrorism agencies. Is that correct?
We do help our anti-terror agencies, particularly the Federal Bureau of Investigation,
Okay,
on a daily
but if
basis.
but if a
And respond,
third,
I'm sorry, sir. After
okay,
you.
go ahead, please.
No, and respond to the requests. We have a very fast system that is an input. Anytime they have information to us, we turn it around as quickly as we can within hours. We do not allow persistent surveillance of our users. We protect the privacy of our users.
You protect the privacy of your users, even if a federal agency wants to surveil that public information for anti-terrorism purposes.
If an agency comes to us with the right process, and it's according to federal law, the ECPA.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
We
I'm
will
talking
respond.
about
Yes, sir.
an independent data analytics company.
Yes, sir. So
You will sell that data to them, but you tell that company you can't use it for anti-terrorism purposes. Is that correct?
we're not going to allow any company, whether they're selling cars or cereal or anything, the NFL, to persistently figure out where somebody is at a given time. But we do have news products, data alerts for law enforcement, for the FBI that they use.
Ms. Wicker, is that the policy of Facebook?
Thank you, Senator. We don't sell user data outside the context of allowing people to target audiences in their advertisements. That is a capability that is equally available to law enforcement as it would be to anybody else. Law enforcement can provide us, if they want to find out specifics about an individual user, they can provide us with legal process, and we will respond.
What is the privacy concern that supersedes the need to surveil terrorist organizations that participate in Facebook?
Senator, we absolutely respond to valid law enforcement requests. If it's part of an investigation and they give us that process, we do respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.